Hollywood loves red carpets, flashing cameras, and glittering gold-plated mansions. But what about the homes the stars don't want you to see? From secret tunnels and champagne fountains to seashell beds, really. These secret hideaways reveal the wild, weird, and sometimes downright creepy sides of famous people. Buckle up, these are the weird homes Hollywood has tried its best to keep hidden. Number 1. Mae West, the Queen of Sass and her all-white lair. While most Hollywood stars flaunted sprawling mansions, Mae West said, "No thanks, darling," and moved into a glamorous apartment at the historic Ravenswood. But don't let the word apartment fool you, this was pure Mae. She decorated everything in white plush carpets, mirrored walls, and yes, even a seashell-shaped bed that looked like it was stolen straight from Venus herself. Subtle, absolutely not. Fabulous, 100%. Her home was more than just a crash pad. It was a shrine to her legendary wit and bold persona. Costumes, props, and photos from her films filled the rooms, reminding guests they were in the presence of Hollywood's sharpest tongue. And while others chased bigger mansions, Mae stayed put for decades, proving she didn't need a castle to rule. Of course, Hollywood being Hollywood, whispers of ghosts still swirl through the Ravenswood halls, with some residents swearing Mae's spirit lingers. Whether you believe the ghost stories or not, one thing's certain: her apartment remains the ultimate symbol of independence, sass, and a woman who always played by her own rules, even in interior design. Number 2. John Barrymore, the great profile and his Gothic playground. John Barrymore wasn't just a leading man, he was the great profile, and his Beverly Hills estate, Bella Vista, was just as dramatic as he was. Built in the 1920s, this sprawling mansion came with a grand library stuffed with rare books and manuscripts, some tucked into secret compartments, like treasure waiting to be discovered. Naturally, he also had his own private stage, because why rehearse Shakespeare in public when you can declaim to be or not to be in your living room? The decor was full-on Gothic, dark wood panels, moody lighting, and furniture that looked like it belonged in Dracula's castle. To top it off, Barrymore let his exotic pets roam the halls. Yes, a monkey and a parrot were basically his roommates. Imagine dropping by for cocktails and being side-eyed by a parrot, while a monkey steals your hors d'oeuvres. But behind the grandeur lay decline. As his health and finances crumbled in the 1930s, Barrymore was forced to give up Bella Vista. The estate was eventually demolished, erasing his Gothic playground. Still, the legend of hidden bookcases, impromptu Shakespeare recitals, and cocktail parties with parrots ensures Barrymore's home lives on in Hollywood lore. Equal parts genius, chaos, and tragic downfall. Number 3. Charlie Chaplin, the comedic genius with a secret tunnel. Charlie Chaplin may have been the king of silent comedy, but his Beverly Hills home was anything but quiet. Built in the 1920s, this cozy little estate looked modest from the outside, but inside it was practically a playground for a genius with too much imagination. First off, the man had a secret tunnel, because of course he did. Rumor has it Chaplin used it to sneak past nosy reporters or slip into a hidden wine cellar for a private drink. But the fun didn't stop underground. Out in the garden, he installed quirky sculptures and playful fountains that looked like they'd wandered straight out of one of his movies. And yes, he even built a miniature stage where he could rehearse skits before unleashing them on the big screen. Imagine being Chaplin's neighbor and watching him pratfall in his own backyard, like it was totally normal. Inside, the house stayed frozen in its 1920s decor, simple, almost humble, which made sense for a man who never forgot where he came from. Still, this modest home also served as his private refuge when the political heat turned up during the McCarthy era. Today, it's privately owned and closed to the public, but in Hollywood legend, Chaplin's house stands as proof that even the funniest man alive needed a secret spot to laugh, hide, and dream. Number 4. Gloria Swanson, Hollywood's drama queen with a secret chapel. If you thought Gloria Swanson only brought drama to the big screen, wait until you hear about her house. Nicknamed Casa del Sol, this Beverly Hills mansion was as theatrical as the star of Sunset Boulevard herself. Built in the 1920s, with Spanish Moorish flair, the place had arched doorways, tiled perfection, and because why not a private chapel? Yes, Gloria could literally pray for good reviews without leaving home. Inside, she filled the mansion with exotic treasures, Egyptian artifacts, antiques from across the globe, and enough sparkle to outshine half of Hollywood. But behind the glamour lurked a few juicy secrets. A hidden passageway led to a tucked-away room, perfect for secret meetings or just escaping from guests who overstayed their welcome. Swanson's parties were legendary, even in a town that lives off spectacle, but as her star power dimmed in the 1930s, keeping up the mansion became a nightmare. Eventually, she had to sell, and later Casa del Sol was demolished, erasing Hollywood's ultimate diva hideaway. Still, people whisper about it, like it was a lost kingdom, proof that Gloria Swanson never did anything small, not even her real estate. Number 5. Errol Flynn, the swashbuckler's wild party palace. Errol Flynn didn't just play daring heroes on screen, he lived like one too. His estate, Mulholland Farm, perched high in the Hollywood Hills, was less a home and more a playground for Hollywood's most notorious bad boy. Think secret passageways leading to hidden bedrooms, scandalous, a two-way mirror for spying on guests, creepy, but on brand, a pistol range for target practice, and of course a private bar where the parties roared till sunrise. Flynn's place was the ultimate bachelor pad, custom-built for sword fights, skinny dips, and stories that could never be printed in the papers. But as the 1950s rolled in, Flynn's health and fortune started collapsing faster than a stage set. The once glamorous Mulholland Farm turned into a sad shadow of its wild days before eventually being demolished. Still, Hollywood can't stop gossiping about the mansion's tunnels, booze-fueled bashes, and all the adventures that went down there. In the end, Mulholland Farm was pure Errol Flynn, larger than life, a little dangerous and impossible to forget. Number 6. James Dean, the rebel with a surprisingly boring bungalow. For a guy who raced Porsches and embodied Hollywood's wild child spirit, James Dean's final home was shockingly ordinary. In the mid-1950s, at the height of his fame, Dean settled into a plain little bungalow in Sherman Oaks. No gold-plated fountains, no ballroom, not even a secret tunnel. Just 4 walls, a garage, and a restless young star trying to breathe. Of course, Dean being Dean, the garage wasn't empty. It housed his beloved Porsche 550 Spider, the same car that would become infamous in his tragic crash. Inside, though, life was almost domestic. He sketched red scripts and even banged on bongos, chasing creativity in every form. Friends recalled the place as Dean's escape from Hollywood's pressure cooker, where he could just exist without the constant spotlight. After his sudden death in 1955, the bungalow became something of a time capsule. Fans still pass by, straining to imagine the rebel icon reading quietly or noodling on drums. It's the ultimate irony the man who symbolized speed, chaos, and rebellion chose to spend his last nights in a house that was almost boring. Almost. Number 7. Jane Mansfield, the pink palace of Hollywood's blonde bombshell. If subtlety had an enemy, it was Jane Mansfield. While other stars were busy decorating in beige, Jane went full bubblegum and built the infamous Pink Palace in Los Angeles during the late 1950s. This mansion wasn't just pink, it was attack your eyeballs pink. The walls, the carpets, even the ceilings screamed cotton candy fantasy. And at its heart, a heart-shaped swimming pool with the words, "I love you, Janie," spelled out in mosaic tiles. Over the top, absolutely. Fabulous, even more so. Jane's then-husband, Mr. Universe, Mickey Hargitay, added his own flair by building a fountain that she occasionally filled with pink champagne because why stop at regular water when you can swim in bubbly? The mansion became Party Central, a Barbie dream house on steroids, where Hollywood's wildest nights played out. But beneath the glitter and giggles, the Pink Palace was Jane's declaration. She wasn't Marilyn Monroe 2.0, she was her own icon, bold and unapologetic. Sadly, the house was torn down in the early 2000s, but its legend lives on. Number 8. Buster Keaton, the Silent Clown's Mansion of Surprises. Buster Keaton didn't just master physical comedy, he mastered real estate flair too. In the 1920s, at the height of his silent film fame, he built a Beverly Hills estate so packed with quirks, it could have doubled as a movie set. The place boasted 20 rooms, a Roman-style swimming pool, a trout stream that literally ran through the property, and even an aviary. Because why not keep exotic birds around to critique your pratfalls? Of course, Keaton being Keaton, he added his own cinematic twist, a hidden bar that magically transformed into a private screening room. Imagine hosting friends pouring a drink, then bam, suddenly you're at a premiere without ever leaving the house. It was the ultimate Hollywood flex. But the laughter didn't last. With the rise of talkies, Keaton's career faltered and money troubles plus a messy divorce forced him to give up his beloved playground. The mansion was eventually demolished, but its legend remains. Fans still talk about the estate as if it were one of his films, bold, inventive, and bittersweet. Like Keaton himself, it was equal parts brilliance, chaos, and tragedy, with a splash of comedy, of course. Number 9. Hedy Lamarr, Hollywood's bombshell with a secret lab. Most Hollywood homes are shrines to vanity, crystal chandeliers, golden faucets, infinity pools. But Hedy Lamarr, she went full mad scientist. Her sleek 1940s house in the Hollywood Hills looked like a stylish starlet's pad. Big windows, modern lines, the perfect spot for cocktail parties. But hidden inside was her real passion, a private workshop where she tinkered away like a glamorous Thomas Edison in heels. That's right, when other stars were sipping martinis. Hedy was inventing the technology that would one day inspire Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Imagine walking into her living room expecting champagne and gossip, only to find her surrounded by blueprints and gadgets. Hollywood's most beautiful woman was secretly plotting to change the world while rocking couture gowns. She didn't exactly give tours of her lab. Genius needs privacy. But the myth grew. Was she running experiments in lipstick and diamonds? Or was she secretly outsmarting half of Silicon Valley decades before it existed? Sadly, the house no longer stands, but its legend does. Hedy's hidden lair reminds us she wasn't just a bombshell. She was a brainiac who made Hollywood's glitz look downright basic. Number 10. Howard Hughes, the billionaire who turned his mansion into a maze. Howard Hughes didn't just build airplanes. He also built one of the strangest homes in Beverly Hills. From the outside, his 1920s estate looked like your standard millionaire's paradise, tall walls, lush greenery, and plenty of Hollywood glam. But step inside and you'd find a funhouse of eccentricity that screamed genius at work, and maybe losing it a little. Hughes installed secret rooms, hidden passageways, and even his own private airstrip, so he could take off without bumping into the paparazzi or his own guests. Rumor has it he obsessed over every detail, from the exact angle of a chair to the precise temperature of each room. Imagine being invited over for dinner and being told, "Sorry, the thermostat says you can't sit here." As his paranoia deepened, the mansion stopped feeling like a luxury retreat and started resembling a self-imposed prison. By the 1950s, Hughes was basically a ghost in his own labyrinth. After his death, the house was demolished, but the legend remains a glamorous hideaway turned madhouse proof that sometimes brilliance and madness share the same blueprint. Number 11. Dolores Del Rio, the star who made modernism sexy. While most Hollywood stars in the 1920s were busy building castles that looked like they belonged in Europe, Dolores Del Rio went a different route. Her Los Angeles home, designed by visionary architect Richard Neutra, was sleek, modern, and way ahead of its time. Think giant windows, clean lines, open floor plans, basically the architectural equivalent of a red carpet power move. Inside, Dolores proudly displayed Mexican art and cultural treasures, transforming the house into a personal love letter to her roots. It wasn't just a home, it was a cultural salon. Artists, writers, and legends like Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo dropped by, probably relieved to escape the usual Hollywood gaudiness for a space that actually had taste. But Hollywood can be fickle. As her U.S. career slowed in the 1940s, Dolores returned to Mexico, leaving her futuristic hideaway behind. Over the years, renovations dulled Neutra's original vision, but architecture buffs still gush about its groundbreaking design. The house may have changed, but its legacy endures. Dolores Del Rio proved you could be glamorous, culturally proud, and modern all at once, long before Instagram made that a trend. Number 12. Douglas Fairbanks, the swashbuckler's secret tunnel retreat. Douglas Fairbanks wasn't just Hollywood's original action hero. He was also the proud owner of a seaside paradise called Fairbanks Ranch in Santa Monica. While he and Mary Pickford reigned at Pickfair, this was his personal escape. A lush retreat complete with landscaped gardens, a private lake, and even a charming boathouse. And because Fairbanks was never one for subtlety, he added a hidden tunnel connecting the main house to the boathouse. Was it for sneaking away from paparazzi? Or making a grand Robin Hood-style entrance? Probably both. True to his athletic spirit, Fairbanks filled the estate with a gym and tennis courts, where he challenged Hollywood's elite to sweaty matches. Guests came for the sports but stayed for the showmanship, because if anyone could turn a backyard tennis game into an epic event, it was Fairbanks. But as his marriage ended and his movie stardom began to fade, the ranch shifted from lively playground to quiet refuge. Eventually, the property was sold and subdivided, but the legend of Fairbanks Ranch lingers. Hidden tunnels, private lakes, and a dash of swashbuckling flair. It was pure Douglas Fairbanks, bold, adventurous, and just a little theatrical. Number 13. Alla Nazimova, the diva who built Hollywood's most scandalous playground. Before Sunset Boulevard was packed with neon billboards, it had the garden of Alla Nazimova's wild bohemian estate. In the 1910s, the Russian-born actress and producer bought a mansion there and transformed it into a creative sanctuary that doubled as Hollywood's most notorious playground. She added guest villas, lush gardens, and a swimming pool shaped like the Black Sea. Subtle, not exactly. Fabulous, absolutely. The garden quickly became a magnet for artists, writers, and rebels who didn't fit into Hollywood's cookie-cutter mold. F. Scott Fitzgerald scribbled stories by the pool. Greta Garbo found peace away from prying eyes. And Errol Flynn, well, let's just say he probably kept the neighbors awake. Rumor has it, Nazimova's parties were as unconventional as her career choices, offering a safe haven for free spirits in a town obsessed with image. But money troubles caught up with her, and by the 1920s, she had to sell. The property later morphed into a hotel, then eventually met its end in the 1950s, replaced by, you guessed it, a strip mall. Number 14. William Randolph Hearst, the media king and his castle of excess. When you're a media tycoon with more money than sense, a simple Beverly Hills mansion won't cut it. William Randolph Hearst wanted a kingdom, so he built Hearst Castle in San Simeon, a sprawling estate so massive it made Versailles look like a starter home. Construction began in the 1910s and didn't stop for decades. By the end, the place boasted 165 rooms, 2 enormous swimming pools, one lined with real gold tiles, sprawling gardens, and even a private zoo with zebras casually roaming the hills. Because, of course, zebras, Hearst filled the castle with authentic European ceilings, tapestries and sculptures shipped across the ocean like it was Amazon Prime for billionaires. Hollywood stars like Charlie Chaplin and Clark Gable were regular guests sipping cocktails while a giraffe probably strolled past the window. But even kings hit hard times. During the 1930s, Hearst's fortune wobbled, and he had to sell off chunks of his priceless art collection. Still, the castle survived, and today it's a California state monument, open for tourists who want to gawk at the kind of excess only Hearst could dream up. Number 15. Marion Davies, the party queen of a 100-room beach palace. When it came to living large, Marion Davies didn't just play the game, she rewrote the rules. With financial backing from her powerful partner William Randolph Hearst, she built the legendary Ocean House in Santa Monica during the 1920s. This wasn't a mansion. It was practically a seaside kingdom. Try to imagine over 100 rooms, 55 bathrooms, 37 fireplaces, and a pool so massive it could host synchronized swimming and a small navy. Davies turned the place into Hollywood's ultimate playground. Winston Churchill, Charlie Chaplin, and half of the celebrity A-list strolled through its marble halls to attend parties so dazzling they made the Oscars look like backyard barbecues. The centerpiece, a 110-foot pool flanked by marble statues, because nothing says glamour like sipping champagne next to a Roman god. But the fairy tale came with strings attached. The estate was also a reminder of how much she relied on Hearst's fortune, and when his finances crashed in the 1930s, her palace began to crumble too. The main house was demolished in the 1950s, but part of it survives today as the Annenberg Community Beach House. Number 16. Rudolph Valentino, the Latin lover and his haunted fortress. Rudolph Valentino, Hollywood's first great heartthrob, wasn't going to settle for a cozy bungalow. No, he built himself a fortress worthy of a movie epic, Falcon Lair, perched high in Beverly Crest in the 1920s. With sprawling gardens, sweeping staircases, and Italian-style arches, the place looked like it had been teleported straight from medieval Europe. Valentino named it after one of his films, The Hooded Falcon, because apparently even his house needed a dramatic title. But here's the twist: Valentino barely had time to enjoy it. Just months after moving in, he died suddenly at only 31, leaving fans devastated and flocking to Falcon Lair to mourn. Whispers spread that Valentino himself thought the house was cursed, and those rumors only grew when new owners reported eerie noises, ghostly figures, and the general sense that the Latin lover had never quite checked out. The estate changed hands over the decades until it was finally demolished in the early 2000s. Still, Falcon Lair lives on in Hollywood legend as a glamorous, spooky monument to Valentino's short, dazzling life. Call it a love story, call it a ghost story. Either way, it's pure Hollywood drama. Number 17. Mary Pickford, America's sweetheart and her Hollywood kingdom. Mary Pickford wasn't just a movie star, she was Hollywood royalty, and her palace proved it. In the 1920s, she and husband Douglas Fairbanks built Pickfair, a 42-room estate in Beverly Hills that quickly became the most famous house in Hollywood. Think chandeliers, sweeping staircases, and guest lists that read like a history book. Albert Einstein, Charlie Chaplin, Amelia Earhart. You name it, they partied at Pickfair. The mansion wasn't just a home. It was the beating heart of Hollywood's golden age. Reporters dubbed it the White House of the West, and for good reason. Fairbanks and Pickford were the closest thing Hollywood had to royalty. But behind the glittering soirees was a darker truth. After her divorce from Fairbanks in the 1930s, Mary retreated into Pickfair's lavish rooms, rarely leaving. The house became less a palace and more a gilded cage, echoing with memories of lost love and fading fame. By the 1990s, the once iconic mansion was demolished by new owners, leaving only photographs and nostalgia. Number 18. Clark Gable, the king of Hollywood and his low-key ranch. Clark Gable, the dashing star of Gone with the Wind, could have lived in a marble palace with golden doorknobs if he wanted. Instead, the king of Hollywood chose something shockingly modest, a quiet ranch in Encino. Forget crystal chandeliers. Gable preferred wide-open fields, horse stables, and dusty trails where he could ride off into the sunset like one of his movie roles. The ranch had a cottage that served as his personal hideaway, a place where he could rehearse lines, sip whiskey, or just sit on the porch like a regular guy. Friends remembered him hosting laid-back barbecues rather than glitzy galas, proof that sometimes even kings crave burgers over banquets. But the ranch also carried a somber note. After the tragic death of his wife, Carol Lombard, Gable retreated there for solitude. Locals recalled seeing him walking the property at dusk, a lonely figure seeking peace far from the Klieg lights of Hollywood. Today, the Encino landscape has changed, but the legend of Gable's ranch remains. It was the one place where Hollywood's ultimate leading man traded the spotlight for silence and showed that even the king needed a kingdom of calm. Number 19. Cary Grant, the gentleman's spy in his secret garden. Cary Grant looked every inch the debonair leading man, tailored suits, perfect hair, and that unmistakable charm. So you'd expect his home to be a glittering palace dripping with chandeliers, right? Wrong. Grant's Beverly Hills hideaway was surprisingly understated, tucked behind tall hedges, like it was hiding from the paparazzi. Inside, the decor was tasteful but playful, reflecting his famous wit. Friends recalled intimate dinners and relaxed movie nights far from the stuffy Hollywood soirees. In the garden, winding paths and lush greenery created the perfect backdrop for Grant's legendary sense of humor. Guests would be treated not to stiff formality, but to carry cracking jokes as easily as he once stole scenes on screen. Of course, no Hollywood home would be complete without a bit of intrigue. Rumor has it there was a hidden alcove behind the library shelves leading to a secret study. Was it for privacy or just Grant having fun with his own James Bond fantasy? Either way, it fit him perfectly. Number 20. Jean Harlow, the blonde bombshell, and her haunted house. Jean Harlow, Hollywood's original blonde bombshell, had a Beverly Hills home that seemed straight out of a noir film, glamorous on the surface, cursed underneath. The trouble started when her husband, producer Paul Byrne, died mysteriously in the house just months after their wedding. Officially, it was ruled a suicide, but rumors of foul play swirled faster than champagne at a Hollywood party. And because Hollywood loves a good ghost story, whispers quickly spread that the house itself was cursed. As if that wasn't enough, Harlow herself died tragically young, at just 26, fueling the legend. Over the years, new owners claimed to hear strange footsteps, doors creaking open on their own, and a general sense of someone else being there. Basically, Airbnb nightmare fuel. But beyond the spooky vibes, the home also revealed Harlow's softer side. She loved surrounding herself with books, keepsakes, and personal touches that reminded people she wasn't just a bombshell. In satin gowns, she was also a young woman with dreams, quirks, and heartbreaks. Number 21. Harold Lloyd, the daredevil comedian, and his playground palace. Harold Lloyd didn't just dangle from clocks on screen, he dangled extravagance right into his home life. His Beverly Hills estate, fittingly named Green Acres, was a 44-room mega mansion that screamed, "Yes, I am a silent film legend, and yes, I need my own private zoo." Built in the 1920s, the place had it all: a 50-foot-long living room, fountains scattered like stage props, manicured gardens, and even a 9-hole golf course. Because why pay club fees when you can sink putts in wall? But Lloyd's flair for spectacle didn't stop there. He created a secret room just to stash his massive film collection, a Hollywood hoarder's dream. Guests could wander from a lavish drawing room straight into a mini museum of Lloyd's career. And if that wasn't enough, the estate had its own zoo because apparently cats and dogs weren't exciting enough. Yet like many silent film stars, Lloyd struggled when talkies took over. By the 1970s, he had to sell off much of the land to cover costs, though the main house survived and is now a historic landmark.